Dante Simpson. He has something to say. He's a heavy hitter in this game, and I'm going to let Dante tell you about what he has going on. Dante?
Hello, my name is Dante Simpson. I am the CEO and co-founder of ESPAT TV. It was an opportunity that was built, and I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. So we have two different entities. There is ESPAT and there's ESPAT TV. So ESPAT itself was born out of need, to be quite honest with you. It's more or less a licensed platform, very similar to Getty, for example, but we only focus on esports and gaming content globally. So my partners and co-founders, they were honestly just looking for photos. They couldn't find any esports photos and said, hey, here's an opportunity, and opportunities are often born that easily. And we started and have become the largest in this space for licensed content, photos, and assets. But I am a content guy. So I started to take a look at the future of where esports and gaming is going. And I said, wait, there's another opportunity here to identify premium content. Think high-end commercials, think of shows, think of your esports, your ESPN 30 for 30s around esports content. So your content that lives not only on Twitch, but also on some of your other platforms out there. And we have pursued this journey, found some amazing partners, and here we are, ESPAT TV. Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to broaden our scope, and we had a global agenda. And we said, who are some of the largest names, some of the beloved folks in the world of content that may not today be focusing on esports, but they need to. And we created a list. We, as it's the festive time, so we checked it twice, and we were more or less just trying to identify who would be the ideal partners. And the crown jewel of that was Ridley Scott. We took a look at his creative group, and a lot of people associate him with, American Gangster, Gladiator, some of his other, feature films that have kind of put him on Mount Rushmore, beginning back in 1977 with Alien. So he's been around for a while, but a lot of folks don't know some of his current work. And I recommend that you go to ridleyscott.com, take a look. I mean, there's so many Beyonce fans, but they don't know that he's behind a lot of Beyonce's work as well. And, just to kind of really get a scope of, some of the stuff that he's done. Forgive me, I think it's Black is King, most recently coming out. But you kind of take a look at some of the stuff that Beyonce's done, and you realize that Ridley Scott Creative Group is behind just that, to just give you an example of some. But there's just so much more. Childish Gambino, and so many other folks. So when you start to marry culture and Ridley, you don't really associate that. But when you do a little research, you're like, wait, this guy's worked with Burna Boy? What are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense, but it has happened. So we took a look at the gaming culture, and we thought that he would be a great fit. We kind of pitched him on what we were doing. He got it. He loved it. And, the creative group, his Ridley Scott Creative Group became a part and partnered with ESPAT TV. It's interesting to see a lot of the partnerships that have happened. So I'll give you an example. A lot of folks from our culture have stepped into the gaming community, first of all, because a lot of them are just simply gamers. You look at folks like Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg, they game all the time. And then you start seeing folks like Post Malone, Sway Lee. There's just a lot of folks who have stepped into this space, Offset, and a lot of folks have really stepped in, and it's just a natural fit. When you start talking about cross-pollinating cultures, Juju Smith-Schuster from the Pittsburgh Steelers loves gaming. He is a true gamer to the core. And just identifying, that here's a culture where music transcends, gaming transcends. We know what the #1 music art form is in the world, hip hop, transcends. And, once you start to mix that world, it only makes sense for people of color to step in and truly step in from a creative perspective. And I give a shout out to people like Delaney Parnell. He created Play Versus, and they're tackling the high school agenda. And to have these other folks who have stepped in that look like you and I, that truly have a passion for and are lending their creativity. And I liken it to the NFL. And we often say, hey, there's no black owners. Why are there no black owners? Why is this the NBA and we're just, we're looking WNBA, we start looking at ownership and saying, where are our people? I took my cues from Tyler Perry, to be quite honest with you. And this was during the Oscar So White era, where he said on the BET stage, so many of you are trying to have a seat at the table. I'm in Atlanta. I built my own table. Come join me. That's what I'm saying to folks. Listen, you want to figure out where to align in sports. You want to figure out these opportunities, but we wait until all the seats are taken. And then we want to say that we want to fight to have a seat at the table. Build your seat now. The opportunity is now to actually build your seat and build your table. You know what I mean? So bring it all together. And that's what I would urge for our folks to really take a look at this in a real business, from a real business perspective, and capitalize on opportunity. I always say, and I love talking to you about this because you obviously come from a basketball background. I always say that the NBA had 3 stages of the NBA. There was the early era of the colorful basketball. I always call that the Dr. J era, right? And then there was the rivalry era. I like to call that the Magic versus Bird era. And then there was Michael Jordan. And when Michael Jordan came along, he taught everyone how to create an ecosystem, create a business, become a conglomerate within yourself. And what do we see now? We see LeBron and everything that he's built with Mav and Rich and the entire crew over there. We see folks that, you know, KD and what he's doing with Rich and, you know, these folks that are doing tremendous things in basketball. I actually come with that mind frame. We all know that gaming is a huge industry, but how do you actually build stars? I applaud Ninja. He's done a great job at it. He is one. We need to have more, maybe not ninjas, but we need to have more individuals that are their own brand globally, not only within the community, but outside. You don't have to like basketball to know exactly who LeBron is. Like, if you just, you know, that's when you start, you know, people mourned Kobe, you know what I mean? A lot for his basketball accolades, but a lot because of the person that he was. You know what I mean? He is somebody who transcended, rest in peace, somebody that transcended basketball itself to become his own. And look at what he accomplished. I mean, he went on to win awards, you know, outside of that space from a production and content perspective. So that's what we're looking to do, is not only amplify the community in 2021, but also to bridge. So we are the first agency that has a first look deal with Netflix. We're the first agency, we're the first group that also has a first look deal with Hulu. How does that happen? You know what I mean? It's like but these folks are understanding that they need to tap in. We understand that we're trying to amplify the community. We love what Twitch is doing. But, you know, it wasn't until the NBA became a global game that it really became what it is today. And obviously esports is that global game, but we want to create those global stars independently, not only within the space, but throughout. That's our 2021 objective. So our pandemic pivot is identifying teams, organizations that we can amplify outside of the space while doing it inside of the community as well. A lot of folks, you know, may love the commercial which is for Free Fire, without ever having played the game. You know what I mean? And that's where you look to leverage, you know, the global appeal of somebody like Cristiano to amplify the title itself. You know, I know folks who are like, wow, I've never played Free Fire. I'm gonna go download it and check it out. Well, that's the objective. You know what I mean? It's how do you identify somebody that's got tremendous global appeal, the largest sport globally, and is truly committed. That was actually really good in the commercial. That's also, you know, a wonderful thing that he had the personality to match. And you know, bringing that type of thing to life. So we take a look at Free Fire with Cristiano. We take a look at Cyberpunk 2077 with Keanu Reeves. You know what I mean? And kind of bringing these folks, and that's what we're looking to do. And when I say premium content versus just content, that's where we step into this arena where folks trust us with their A-list talent to say, listen, if we're gonna do it and we wanna do it right, let's align with these folks. And we are those folks. So we're looking at the difference between content and premium, and that's an example. And, you know, tremendous folks to work with. Our teams haven't had, you know, it's been an amazing pleasure to work with everybody that we have. But that's an example of how we're bringing, you know, one group in to this audience, and then you'll start seeing there's an inbound outbound relationship. You know, next stage of that campaign is, what does it look like when Cristiano Ronaldo is playing soccer versus a gamer? You know what I mean? And what does the funny of that look like, and kind of bringing that to life through commercial campaigns. So that's, you know, the future and the vision of what we're doing here. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining us. You are now rocking with Remotely Renee. Stay tuned.